Well. Look at here, look at here. This is your girl, Lisa Robinson. Hey, y'all. Hey, y'all. Hey. Tonight, we're talking about private lending. I know it's a little late. I know it's different. I usually went earlier in the day, but today got away from me. So here we are. So y'all gonna get this information. I promise y'all I was on here. Now, today, we are talking about private lending for your real estate deals. How to acquire, what it is, how to do it, who, the what, the where, the when, the why, and the how. That's what we're talking about today. All right, so grab your pens, grab your papers. You won't need calculators tonight, but I do need you to grab your pens and papers. Okay, now another thing before we get started and out here. If you are interested in joining the 12-week boot camp for wholesaling real estate, we're going to teach you how to wholesale real estate, everything else. I'm also going to give you guys skip trace leads to work during this 12-week process. So if you are interested in joining that, please DM me the word wholesale, either on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, wherever you're watching me. If you're interested in joining that boot camp, it's 12 weeks. We get started next week, to be honest with you. So I might have to push it back just 1 week because I got some stuff going on. So we might push it back and start after the 4th because I don't want everybody to get started the week of the holidays. So we're actually going to start a week later. For those of you who have already registered and you wonder why you didn't get the exact information that you needed yet, that's why. But I'm going to be putting that out there for you guys. So let's get ready to rumble in these streets. Now, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, heifers and hustlers, divas and dudes. My name is Lisa Robinson. I am y'all's favorite real estate diva. Tonight, we're talking about how to get private money linked for your deals. Now, a lot of you are in my Facebook groups. A lot of you follow me on Instagram, and a lot of you have been commenting on my YouTube channel. You want to know how to get funded. Now, this is part three of a series that we've been doing on how to fund. Now, we've been going over all different types of funding. We've gone over wholesaling, creative funding, which is part of creative finance strategies. We're going to go over some more creative financing strategies. Tonight, we're talking about private lending. Yesterday, we talked about hard money loans. And a lot of you had good follow-up questions. I was able to help you and get that information out to you. But today, talking about private money, how to get private money, what it is, yo. What it is, what we gonna do with it, and everything else in between. So get ready because this is going to be about 45 minutes. So get ready to join. So get ready to get your pens and papers ready. I got everybody. If you can hear me, you can see me. Put a 1 in the comments so I know that we are ready to take notes. And I know this is usually probably like 2 hours and 47 minutes later than I'm usually on here, but we're going to be on here today. Now, my name is Lisa Robinson. I am y'all's favorite real estate diva out here, slutting it up in these real estate streets for the past 27 years. Don't let the pretty brown face fool you. I'm old. That's how we're going to say that. Older. Now, what I would like to tell you guys is, and I want you to understand, my main purpose for live stream, I live stream 2 to 3 times a week, sometimes more, depending on what we got to talk about, is to teach people who were like me when I first started out. You had nobody to help you. You had nobody to teach you, nobody to coach you. You can't say that anymore because I'm right here. So hit the follow, hit the subscribe, whatever it is you need to do in order for us to stay in contact, that you can continue to get the information. Now, so I use personal money. Let me explain. So I recently had an issue with property and I was trying to find financing. I was like, you know what? I'm a little short on the cash. My cash is tight. I can't do this. I can't do that. So I wanted to purchase this house. So I found a lender. It was a great deal. Couldn't pass it up. So what I did was I tapped into my resources, which is my base, my network. I tapped into my nationwide network and I put it out there that I needed this money. I needed $110,000. I needed 110 to purchase the property. All said and done, I reached out to a guy and he said, "Hey, do you?" And he just happened to be contacting me to see if I knew anybody who needed private money. And I said, "Yeah, I do." And I sent him my project. He said, "That's an amazing project. You can't pass that up." I said, "I know." And then we did it this way. So he loaned me. Y'all hear me say that? He loaned me 120, $120,000. No, 110. And then I have to pay him back 120. So that's how that works. And that's how sometimes it's going to be on an interest rate basis. Sometimes it's going to be a flat rate. This is what you got to give me back. If I give you this, you got to do this. And there's nothing wrong with that because it's their money. You can't say no to it. So let's get into it. So what we're going to talk about first is private money. Private money is capital that a private person will loan you to do your project. That's what private money is. That's what they mean when they say private money loans, private money lender. Is someone who loans you their money to you to complete your real estate project. So if it's a fix and flip, you want to buy and hold on to it. The problem is, the one thing I want you guys to understand, and let me fix this because I'm looking off to the side too much. So let me put my little notes in front of me. So I'm half talking about, and I keep y'all up here, keep y'all edutained while I'm entertaining y'all. I'm gonna educate y'all too. Okay. So now private money is capital lent by individuals. You hear me say this? Individuals, not banks, not hard money lenders, not anybody. So it's what is sent to individuals, okay? By individuals. It's money that's loaned to you from an individual person. So if your grandma sent you some money, or if your best friend said, "Here, I got this money, I need to invest it," whoever it is. So that's what it's going to be, okay? Now it can come from your friends, your families. It can come from it can come from a business. Like my business can loan you money. It doesn't matter who, it just matters how you set this up. Okay. Now, the difference from a hard money loan versus a private loan is hard money loan is very strict. You guys know that we went over that yesterday. The terms on a private money loan might be a little bit more flexible depending on who you got the money from. Just put it like that. So it might be a little bit more flexible depending on who you got the money from. Now, why do people borrow private money? Because you don't go through a traditional bank process. You don't have to prove income. You don't have to get your credit report ran. You don't have to prove that you have a job. You just have to make sure. Most private money lenders want to make sure. They may ask you about how they're going to get paid back, especially if it's not something that you plan to buy and hold or flip right away. They want to know, if you're planning to buy and hold, they're going to want to know how they're getting the money back. So you might have to prove that during the process. But if it's a flip, they just want to know the numbers and how long the project is going to take for you to complete. Then they're going to say, "Okay, here's the money, blah, blah, blah." Now, you can close on hard money loans really fast. Really, really fast. Because in most cases, you might either own the property already or you have the property under contract. So what happens is, with a private lender, you can close a private loan in like 7 to 10 days. It doesn't take much because they already have the money. They're just waiting for you to do the project and they're doing the analytics. So that's it. Okay. Now, why would you use it? This is great. This is a great strategy to use. Private money is a great strategy to use if you have a property that was left to you and is vacant and you want to renovate it and flip it. It's a great tool to use because then what you're doing is you're borrowing the construction money, or you can borrow enough to purchase and renovate. You can do that as well. So private money is the best option for you. And another reason, if you don't want to go through the hard process, your credit is not where it needs to be. Your business might not be structured the way you need it to be structured just yet. So there's a lot of different things that you could actually do to get private money. Okay. Now, if you're going to do fix and flip or the BRRRR strategy where you buy it, you rehab it, you rent it out, you refinance it, and you repeat. That's what BRRRR stands for everybody who loves BRRRR strategy. That's what it stands for. Buy it, renovate it, rent it, refi it, repeat. BRRRR. Okay. Now, if you're buying land, you might want to do a private money. If you want to do a wholesale and a double close, and we talk about that, we're going to be talking about that in the boot camp. So if you're doing a wholesale deal and you need to double close, you might do private money. And it helps buyers with bad credit and no income, or good credit who just don't want to damage their credit and they just want to go and get these and need a quick turnaround. A lot of traditional banks do not mess with, I was about to cuss it, the F word was up. And they don't mess with us real estate investors, not too often. Now, I'm not saying they don't, there are some who will. There are a lot of banks who will actually, but you know, if you're going through a traditional bank, even on the commercial side, you're gonna have to prove credit. You might have to personally guarantee it and everything else. That's not private money. Okay. Now, why do people lend out their private money to real estate investors? That's a good question. And here's the main reason why. It's passive income. Passive income. You hear me say that, right? It's passive income. Now, passive income between 8 and 15%, and sometimes 20. Between 8 and 15% on the money. So if somebody was to let you borrow $100,000 and they're charging 15%, you're going to pay them back $115,000. You see how that works? So they just pay $15,000 on your money in a matter of, well, on their money. They make $15,000 profit by letting you borrow that money on a fix and flip that's out for maybe anywhere between 7 and 12 weeks. So in a matter of 2 or 3 months, they're going to make $15,000 off of your project. That's why people loan out private money. So if you want to be a private lender, please, you can come see me and I'll be more than happy to show you how to set that up. Now, another reason is because the note is secured. They are securing a note. When somebody loans you money, they're going to put a lien on the property. They're going to put a lien or a note or a mortgage note or a lien is going to go on the property. So that means if you decide not to pay them when you go to sell it, they're going to get paid because their name is going to be attached to the house. Now, their name does not go on the deed. It's just like when you do a mortgage with the bank. The bank's name is not on your deed, but they have a lien on the property. So it's the same way, only you're going to get this through the bank. You're going to get this through a private person. Now, it's a less volatile environment on a real estate. So if you got money, then doing it with the stock market. So if you got money, say you got $20,000 and you want to put it into the stock market, you're not sure because, you know, the economy's crazy, it's going up, it's going down, you don't know how, whatever. Imagine if you did the 20,000 and gave it to a real estate investor and they flipped a house and you got 30,000 back. Or you got 4,000 back. So you got 24,000. So you got your 20 and then another 4,000. So you can think of things like that as well. That's why it's that type of investment. Now, lenders can be anybody except somebody who is doing something illegal. All my, pharmaceutical salespeople, you can't get money from them. You can, but then you can be brought up on RICO charges later. So that's why we don't deal with cash, because you can't prove it. You got to be able to prove it, where it came from, who it came from, and how they acquired it. So if you want to borrow money from your cousin Ray Ray, who might be a street pharmaceutical person, then you can. But remember, if you can't prove where that money came from down the road somewhere, your property and you can be in a bit of trouble. Okay. Now, retirees with IRAs. So if you are of the age where you've got $300,000, $400,000 sitting in an IRA, you could become a private lender in real estate. You can loan that money to a real estate investor, and then they will give you percentage on your money back. And you set your terms, how much they're going to pay you back, how much they're going to pay you per month, and when they got to pay you. Hear me? When do they have to pay you? Most private lenders go 3 months on a flip, 6 months on a flip. I know my guy that I borrowed from, he gave me 6 months to pay him back. So got to October to pay him back. And it's going to be fine, no problem, because I'm going to do what I just told you guys. I'm already renting the property with the money that he gave me. The renovations are already in progress. By the time it's ready to go, which will be, by the time we're done, which will probably be like the end of August, by the time we get done, because we got a lot of stuff to do. And it's a lot of internal things that have to be done. So it takes a little longer because you have to have permits. You have to have permits and inspections. So what I'm saying, so once that's done, we're going to refinance the property because it's a property I plan to keep and hold on to, and I'm going to rent it out. So that's how you get out of it. So when I refinance it, the bank's going to say, oh, you have this loan. What's the payoff amount? And I have to get a payoff amount from a private lender to see how much I paid up until then. And he's going to then say what the remainder is, and the bank will pay him and give me the rest of the refi. Y'all got that? Okay. We'll talk more about all that stuff when we talk about cash out refis and how you can be your own bank. Okay. Professionals, a lot of doctors, lawyers, entrepreneurs invest in real estate without having any real estate. They invest in real estate without owning any real estate through the process of private lending. That's where that comes from. Now, let's talk about the good and the bad. The good and the bad. If you're with me, drop the 1 because I want to see who's here, who's shining bright, who's here. Give me some likes on TikTok. If you want to hit the hearts, that's fine too. Or you want to send me a little rose, I'd appreciate it. Now, here are the pros for people who borrow from private lenders. It's a quick approval and closing process. It does not take long. Your lawyer draws up the paperwork, you sign the paperwork, it's done, and you get it. It's flexible terms. Very flexible on the terms. So because you and the lender are going to sit and discuss the type of terms that you want before you even get into signing off on paperwork. Okay? And they will fund the deals that the banks most likely will not touch. That's what private lenders do. Okay? Now, here are the cons for you. You're going to have a higher interest rate. I just told you. Mortgage rates right now are maxed out at about around close to 7%. You're going to start at about an 8, 9, 10, all the way up to 20%. I've seen some a little bit higher, not a whole lot higher, but a little bit higher. You're going to have higher interest rates. You're going to have a shorter term. The most I've seen any private lender do 18 months. The majority of them stick between 6 to 12. Just so you know. And then you're going to have that balloon payment at the end. That's why it's important for you, the person borrowing this money, to have an exit strategy. How are you going to get this person back their money once it's set up? Okay. Now, for the lender, they get high returns on it. They get a high interest rate out on their money. If you put $100,000 in a savings account, you put $100,000 in the stock market, you may or may not get XYZ LMNOP as far as what type of return you're going to get. If you set the term, if you put it into a real estate investment, you're going to get you're going to get 20%. So, or 15% or 10%. You're going to get that. So that's why people do it, because it's like a sure thing. Okay. Now here, and it's passive and secured income. So it's secured by the real estate. It's high returns. It's passive income. It's secured investment, and to diversify your portfolio. So you can put your money in. Now here are the risks. If the borrower goes into default, you have to foreclose on the loan. And or you can do what we call a deed in lieu, which we'll talk a little bit more about later. You may have to foreclose to recoup your money, and it needs proper paperwork and due diligence, because I need you. If I'm a doctor and I'm seeing patients all day, or I'm in surgery all day, I don't have time to chase you for my money. I really don't. So what you're going to do is say, hey, these payments are due on this date. In the letter in your organization paperwork, you can have when the payments are due, how much they are, how much is going towards interest, how much is going towards principal. You're going to have all of that in your documents. And then you're going to, or if it's a flat rate, you're just going to have a flat rate in there and say, this is what I want back. I'm telling you now, the flat rate is probably the best way to go. And most private lenders pick that way, to be honest with you. So when you move it, and you moving it that way, so now when you have the paperwork, and what we mean by due diligence is you need to know how to analyze that deal. So you know how you're getting paid. You need to know what the exit strategy is for that deal. So you need to know how it is getting that. And most attorneys, because you usually will get your real estate attorney or a business attorney to write this stuff up. I say go with the real estate attorney, not a criminal defense attorney. Now, we talked about this before. We have criminal defense attorneys writing up real estate contracts, and then what happens is they get called to trial and you don't hear from them for a long time. Get a real estate attorney, someone who specializes in real estate. Okay? Now, deed in lieu. Just talk a little bit. So we're going to go what this is. Deed in lieu of foreclosure means this. If you have a deed in lieu of foreclosure, a borrower voluntarily gives the deed to avoid foreclosure. It's a faster recovery for the lender in case of default. It's less damage to your credit because you don't have a judgment on your credit for this foreclosure. If you did it in your personal name, and then some people, and private lenders will lend in your personal name versus how hard money only lends to businesses. Okay. So when you use it, you include it in your agreement up front as a fallback. So you don't have to go through the whole process of going to court and all this other stuff. Deed in lieu means I'm giving you the deed in lieu of making the remaining payments on this debt because I can't afford it. Pretty much is how that works. Or I'm late and I don't want to, forgot to put my do not disturb on because I'm starting to get a whole bunch of text messages. Sorry, guys. So it goes, if I'm late, I lose the property. They can just file the paperwork and the paperwork is done. Okay, now, when to use it, like I said, you include it in your agreement up front as a fallback. Now, what happens when private money investors lend their money, they take first, second, or third position. This means what position is their money in? Lien position. If you already have a mortgage on a property from, say, a Bank of America, a Navy Federal Credit Union, or anything like any traditional bank, you already have a loan on a property, they take first position. If you have no mortgage and you owe no money on this property, the person who loans you the money takes first position. Most private lenders want to have first position. They don't like second position. If they do take second position, trust me, it's somebody you know. Nobody's doing that. I'm sorry. Nobody's going to do that. Okay? Now, first position, that means in case of default or sale, the first, second, or third position. In case of default or sale, whatever position you hold is how you will be paid. So if you hold first position, you get paid out first. So if there's $100,000 loan, and I'll use my property that I just did this for a few months ago. If I have $110,000 on that loan, it comes out to be about, so it's 129. So the mortgage is on there for 129. Okay. Now, at 129, I'm paying monthly payments. But my lender, as soon as I finish the renovations, I get ready to sell the property and we go to closing, a check will be cut from my remaining balance immediately to my lender. They get paid before I do. They get paid before anybody because they hold first position. Whoever holds first position will be paid first. If you hold a second position, you're going to be paid after whoever holds that first position. So if this is a normal transaction, you know how you hear buyers say, I have a first and a second mortgage on my home, or I have a first, a second, and a third mortgage on my home, depending on how big the house is and how much equity they have. So a first position, so say Bank of America has first position, they're going to get paid first. Say my private lender has second position because they gave me the money for the down payment. They would get paid second. If there's, say I had my roof done and I didn't pay my roofer, so he put a lien on my home, he's getting paid last. Yeah, that's what that means when we say first, second, third. So when we say the third position is the highest, riskiest position to be in, because if there's not enough money, you will not be paid. And that's just how it is. Yep. So the first position is where everybody wants to be, and that's where everybody usually is, first position. Okay. All right. Now, the required paperwork that you're going to need to do a private loan, you're going to need a promissory note. This outlines the loan amount, the interest rates, and how you're going to repay back and how you're going to pay out the terms. That's what a promissory note is. You're going to need a mortgage or a deed of trust. This secures the loan with the property and it's recorded with the county. So it's on record that you own this, that you have this lien on this property, okay? A personal guarantee, but this is optional, and this is only if you're going to personal guarantee it. This adds another level of assurance, but it doesn't mean anything. You can still do a private loan without it. Okay? Deed in lieu, so optional, but good to have. It's a pre-agreed deed transfer if a default occurs. So deed in lieu means you can transfer the property once you go into default. Okay? All right. Now, loan agreement. This includes the terms, use of funds, and the default clauses. Then you need a title report. It confirms ownership and existing liens. So this will have to be, it's recorded. So when they record the deed, when they record the deed in the mortgage paperwork, that's going to go on the title report. Now, if I go to sell this property, that my private lender is going to come up on my title report, if you guys know what I mean. Okay. Now, ain't insurance. I don't give a fat rat behind what what you say you do and don't need. You need insurance. And if you're flipping, if you're not living in the home and you're flipping it, you need either builder's risk or landlord's insurance. Okay. If you're living in it, you can have homeowner's insurance. But if you're saying nobody lives in it's vacant and you're doing a flip, and you have to have builder's risk. If you do not have the proper insurance, what's going to happen? Yes, your insurance company will deny any claims, and you don't want to do that. Okay? And the lender, on an insurance binder, the lender should be listed as a loss payee. So only if something happens. So in my case, my lender is listed as a loss payee. So if my house burns down and the insurance pays me out, he will get paid out through the insurance. So I don't have to worry about, and I will get the rest of the money. That's how that works. Okay. Now, why must you use an attorney? Child, because you're not an attorney. That's why. Sounds good to me. You should use a real estate attorney to do this because it ensures that your contracts are legally enforceable. It protects you and your lender. It avoids amateur mistakes. I'm telling you now, when I tell you I made so many mistakes with private money in the past, and I'm like I tell you guys all the time. I'm here to tell you the mistakes that I've made so that you don't make them. I've already made the mistakes, so you don't have to. Just do what I tell you to do, so you'll avoid the mistakes. Okay. Now, avoid amateur mistakes that can lead to lawsuits and the loss of your property. So if you want to keep your property, you want to keep everything, the way you want it, then you need to stop and listen to me. Okay. This is me. And y'all know me. By now, y'all know me. TikTok might not so much because I haven't been going live on TikTok, but that's going to change. I'm going to include TikTok now. Okay. Attorneys draft your document. They conduct the title review. They record all the liens and paperwork to make sure everything is done, and they handle the closings, especially for recording your deed. So you need to make sure that you have a real estate attorney. Okay. Now, that is that. If by any chance you want to learn more about creative financing strategies and other alternative lending solutions for your real estate business, real estate investment business, or holla at your girl. My name is Lisa Robinson. I am your favorite real estate diva. I have time for Q&A, so if you do have any questions, please put them in the chat, and I will answer as many as I can. So tonight we have covered all this. We talked about who can borrow money. We talked about why you need to borrow money. We talked about the pros and the cons of borrowing money and lender. How does this negatively impact you? How does it positively impact you? We've talked about all of that. So if you are interested, you can always reach out to me and get on the text messaging list so that when I go live, you know when I'm going live. Okay, because I will be texting you guys out a launch. I think that's such a pretty name. Okay, or you can book a call with your girl. Call me and we can go over your real estate investment strategy. All you have to do is DM me and I will send you the link to schedule. And it's a free call. It's a free call. We don't charge for money, but it's first initial phone call. And we go over a strategy call. We go over your strategies, where you are. We talk about where you are right now, what your goals are for the future, and what steps you need to take in order to get to that next level. Okay. Now, if you want to get in on the boot camp for wholesaling real estate, it's a 12-week boot camp. It's going to start on Monday after July 4th. So that's the 7th. Yeah, that'll be July 7th. We're going to start July 7th. And we're going to go all the way until the end of September. Yep. And we're going to be doing some individual coaching and some group coaching. So that's where we are right now. If you have any other questions, any further questions, I know I kept y'all pretty late. It's about 45 minutes. Like I told you, it was about 45 minutes. Now, oh wait, it's only like 30. So I kept it way low, even though we had a lot going on. I will be back on here tomorrow. What time? I do not know as of yet, which is why it's best for you to text me, because I usually send out a text message right before I go live to let everybody know I am going live. Okay. Now, I appreciate you. What I always tell you guys before I leave out, you can choose to be anything you want in this world, sweetheart. I just hope you choose to be kind, because at some point in your life, someone's been kind to you. And it's just good to pay kindness forward. Not only does it make you a good person, but if we all did, it make the world a much better place. And I'm pretty sure that you all will agree when I say we need that right now. Now, if this was your first time, don't let it be your last. And if you've been here with me, your favorite real estate dealer before, thank you for always coming out and supporting your girl. I really do appreciate the love. And I hope you learned something tonight. If you did, great. Please share. Please share and tell your friends. If you didn't, just go on. Keep scrolling. No need for negativity in this world. All right. Alrighty. I will talk to you mañana. I will see you guys tomorrow with I think tomorrow is seller financing. We're going to talk all things seller financing. Okay. Alrighty. I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.